Hello everyone, I'm Colin Connett, and today I'm going to show you some of the tricks that I use in my workshop. Everything I show you today is going to be just to do with clamping, and I'm only going to show you 5 items because they're 5 items that I think you'll really benefit from. I know I have. If I showed you 15 or 20 of them, if you're like me, you probably forget most of them, but this way maybe some of them you'll remember and you'll be able to use. The first thing I want to show you is just simple gluing of boards. And of course, when you glue boards together, and if you're a woodworker, you'll do lots of that, and the boards slip around very often. They're a little bit warped one side or another as much as you try to get them straight and flat. And when you glue them up and clamp them together, sometimes you'll get the centers are nice and flat, but the outsides, I like to get the centers flat first of all, and then the outsides are warped. But what do? Well, very simple. You can get yourself a block of wood, just some scrap wood. I like to use something close to an inch wide. You take it over to your drill press and drill a hole through it, and that size doesn't matter. Then you go to your table saw, of course, and cut them in half. And now look at what you can do. Now you can take these and you can make different sizes of them, and you put them on either side of your board. And when you clamp these together, it aligns your boards because these are easily to move, and now your boards are nice and flat together. And look, the glue doesn't stick because there's an airspace in there. And now you can leave these boards sit for half an hour or so, whatever the time that you do that, so that the glue dries enough. You can take this all off, and now you can just scrape that wood off, and you don't have a mess like you would if you used like a C-clamp that squishes all the glue together, and make a much better, cleaner gluing job. Sometimes after I've clamped my wood together, I find that the boards are still not together in the middle. Even if I started off that way, the glue has slipped enough. And I can still use these, but further on in the board, now even my biggest C-clamp won't reach in, and this is just a narrow board here. It still won't reach in far enough, but I can still use these. Now I could use them with a C-clamp for narrower places, but sometimes I'm further in or I've got wider boards. Well, for that, you can use a clamping extension, and all this is some scrap wood. It's about 1.25 inches wide. I put a hinge in there just to sort of keep it together, and I just put a couple of jaws on the side of it to offset it. And again, you can use these same things. You just put them, position them between the glue joint, and you can put them on like that, and now you can reach as far in as you want. And what you do now is you just put one of your clamps on there, and of course the closer to the wood you can get it, but you'll get the idea here that now you've got pressure right on that glue joint, and you've got a way of keeping those boards together. Let's talk about gluing picture frames, or in some cases doors, together. And I know a lot of you like to make picture frames because I get emails from you. How do you glue these together? There's lots of different ways of doing it. This is one way that I use. Now sometimes you're only gluing some corners. Maybe you're doing a repair or something, and all you do for this again is drill a hole somewhere. And we never like to have these areas meet in here. We like to have some space for the very tip to be free, and the same with this, and that's why we drill the holes. We put the center underneath there and the top over top, and check this out. We can now use one of our clamps like this, and these just clamp together. It's unbelievable. You know, you can lift it up like that. They clamp together very, very well. Another thing you can do, using these same sort of corner braces like that, make sure that you take a minute to line up each one of them, because they can be a little bit askew when you first line them up. So you need to take a second to make sure that the corners line up to a nice point on each side. And then you can take one of these tie-down devices, and I've actually seen these at the dollar store. They're inexpensive, but you know what? For this, they would work just fine. And wrap it around, tie them together, and then you can just tighten them up. And you can buy this whole concept commercially, but you know what? You can make your own for not very much money, and it works just as well. And you can see, because I took a second here to line these up, all the points are coming together very nicely. But look at the corners, you know, you got nice tight corners there. A very quick and easy way of clamping. And still talking about clamping, you know, I work alone in my workshop, and sometimes I could use another set of hands, and these things are absolutely priceless to me. When it comes to assembly and you need somebody to hold some wood for you, these things are really easy to make. All you take is, in this case, I took an 8-inch square piece of plywood. I just cut it off. We always nip off the corners so that we don't interfere with corners and edges, the same as we did with these, exactly the same principle. But look at how easy these things work. Now it's like having another set of hands, and that's nice and firm there. In this case, I'm going to take it to the edge of my workbench. I can now clamp it down, and you know, that's how sturdy that is. Really handy little third hand. Well, and that's it. 5 quick little workshop hacks that you can make. The little circles for gluing, the clamp with the 2 pieces together where you can glue the corner together. The same thing, only now using a tie-down strap. So that's number 3. Number 4, of course, was this little handy thing, and number 5 is the clamp extension, and that's going to come in handy to you every time you do a glue up from now on. I'm Colin Canet for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.